You download a document, close the browser, and then realize you have no idea where the file went. Or you save something important, but the next day it seems to have disappeared. The file usually is not missing. It is simply stored in a location you did not notice. In this lesson, you will learn the simple map behind files and folders in Windows 11. By the end, you will be able to save a file deliberately, find a download, create sensible folders, move and copy files, recover an ordinary deletion, and search without guessing. Start with 3 ideas: file, folder, and location. A file is one item that holds information, such as a photograph, a PDF document, a spreadsheet, or a video. Its name helps you recognize it, and its file type tells Windows which programs can open it. A folder is a container used to group files and other folders. The location is the route Windows follows to reach that item. Think of a paper document inside a labeled folder, inside a filing cabinet. The document is the file. The labeled folder is the folder. The cabinet and drawer describe its location. On a computer, that route might be This PC, Documents, Home Records, and then Insurance. Knowing that route is what allows you to return later. File Explorer is the map you use to browse those locations. Open it from the folder icon on the taskbar, from the Start menu, or by pressing the Windows key and E together. On the left is the navigation pane. It offers starting points such as Home, Documents, Pictures, Downloads, OneDrive, and This PC. The large area shows the contents of the location you selected. At the top, the address bar shows the route to your current folder. If it says This PC Documents, Home Records, you are looking inside Home Records, which is inside Documents. Select an earlier part of that address to move back up the route. The back arrow returns to the location you viewed previously. These are different actions, so use the address bar when you want to understand where you actually are. The easiest way to find a file later is to notice its location while saving it. When an application shows Save or Save As, do not look only at the file name box. First, choose where the file belongs. Select This PC or Browse when you want a folder stored on the computer, or choose OneDrive when you intentionally want the file in your synced cloud storage. Open the destination folder and read the path before selecting Save. Then replace vague names such as Document 1 or Scan 004 with a name you will recognize. For example, Home Insurance Policy 2026 is much easier to find than Scan 4. Save As creates a new saved version in the location and name you choose. The ordinary save command updates the file you are already working on. If you are uncertain, use Save As and inspect the location carefully. Files downloaded from a web browser normally arrive in the Downloads folder unless you or the browser changed that setting. Open File Explorer and select Downloads in the navigation pane. Sort by date modified if the newest item is not obvious. You can also open the browser's download list and use its folder button to show the file in File Explorer. Treat downloads like the front hallway of your computer. Items arrive there, but important items should not live there forever. Open the file to confirm it is the correct one, then move it into Documents, Pictures, or another meaningful folder. Delete installers or duplicate downloads only after you are sure they are no longer needed. Create folders around categories you already understand. Inside Documents, you might begin with Home, Finance, Health, Travel, and Personal. Inside Home, you could add Insurance, Repairs, and Manuals. Avoid building a deep maze before you need it. To create a folder in File Explorer, open the location that should contain it, select New, then Folder, and type a clear name. You can also right-click an empty area and choose New, then Folder. Press Enter when the name is finished. A useful folder name describes what belongs inside. A folder called Important eventually becomes meaningless because almost anything can seem important. A folder called Home Insurance has a clear purpose. If you cannot decide between 2 folders, choose the one you would check first 6 months from now. Moving and copying look similar, but they produce different results. Moving a file changes its location. After the move, the original location no longer contains it. Copying leaves the original where it is and creates another copy in the destination. To move a downloaded policy into home insurance, select the file, choose Cut, open the destination folder, and choose Paste. You can use Ctrl-X for cut and Ctrl-V for paste. To copy instead, use Copy or Ctrl-C, then Paste. Dragging between folders can move or copy depending on the locations involved, which can be confusing for a beginner. Cut, copy, and paste make your intention clearer. After moving something important, open the destination and confirm it arrived before continuing. Avoid making unnecessary copies with names such as Final, Final 2, and Newest Final. One well-named file is easier to trust. A Windows file name normally has two parts separated by a period. In homeinsurancepolicy.pdf, the descriptive name comes first, and PDF is the file name extension. The extension tells Windows the type of file and helps determine which application opens it. Common examples include PDF for a document, JPG for a photograph, DOCX for a Word document, and XLSX for an Excel workbook. Windows may hide extensions by default. In File Explorer, select View, Show, then File Name Extensions if you want to see them. Rename the descriptive part when you need a clearer name, but do not casually change the extension. Renaming a PDF so that it ends in JPG does not turn it into a photograph. It can simply make the file harder to open. Use an application's export or save as feature when you genuinely need another format. When you delete an ordinary file from the computer's internal storage, Windows normally places it in the recycle bin rather than destroying it immediately. If you deleted something by mistake, open the recycle bin from the desktop, find the item, right-click it, and choose Restore. Windows returns it to its previous location. That last detail matters. If you cannot see the restored file, return to the folder it came from. Files deleted from removable drives, network locations, cloud services, or with special permanent delete commands may behave differently. Do not empty the recycle bin until you have checked that it contains nothing you still need. For irreplaceable records, a backup is safer than relying on the recycle bin. When you cannot remember an exact location, search from the smallest likely area. If you think the file is a download, open Downloads and use the search box in File Explorer. If it is a household document, search Documents. Type part of the name or a distinctive word. Searching from a specific folder looks inside that folder and its subfolders, which usually produces a shorter, more useful list. If that fails, select This PC and search more broadly. A broad search can take longer because Windows has more locations to inspect. You can also use the taskbar search for a document name or keyword, and Windows may show results from both the computer and OneDrive. Once you find the file, right-click it and choose Open File Location when that option is available. Finding it once is useful. Learning its location prevents the same problem next time. Windows may show both local folders and OneDrive folders in File Explorer, sometimes with very similar names. This PC refers to storage available through the computer. OneDrive is a synced cloud location connected to your Microsoft account. Depending on your settings, desktop, documents, or pictures may be backed up into OneDrive, so read the address bar instead of assuming. A blue cloud beside a OneDrive item means it is online only and will download when opened. A green check indicates a locally available copy. A solid green circle with a check means the item is set to remain available on the device. These symbols describe availability, not importance. If you need a file while offline, right-click it and choose Always Keep on this device. Before moving large groups of files between OneDrive and This PC, confirm which copy you want to keep and allow synchronization to finish. A useful filing system can stay very small. Begin with the standard locations: documents for records and written material, pictures for photographs and images, and downloads as a temporary arrival area. Inside documents, add only a few life categories that match what you actually own. Give files names that describe their contents without opening them. Dates are helpful when order matters. Use year, month, and day so names sort naturally, such as 2026-07-22, home insurance renewal. Once a week, or whenever downloads becomes crowded, move useful items and remove obvious duplicates. Do not reorganize thousands of old files before you can use the basics. Practice with 5 harmless sample files. Create a folder, rename one file, copy another, move a third, delete it, and restore it. Confidence comes from seeing what each action changes. You do not need to memorize every Windows command. Remember the map. A file has a name, a type, and a location. File Explorer shows the route. When saving, choose the folder before selecting Save. Use Downloads as an arrival area, move files into a small structure, and search from the narrowest likely location. If you can name it, place it, and trace the path back to it, your files are no longer disappearing. They are simply waiting in a location you understand.